image, Kaylee and Opa, Opa is grandpa. The problem in this image is that it's overexposed. So you kind of see how the cheeks of the man are really kind of bright. The skin tones are a little bit too, saturated. It has a little bit too much light. But also, it kind of, the color of the skin is a little bit natural too. It means I would like to see more like a natural, mellow kind of like skin tone versus this kind of overly brown tone. So how do you fix that? The shortcut is Command U. Or let's go in Image, Adjustment, Hue and Saturation. So if I go in Hue and Saturation, this tool is fantastic because you can change the master. So right now this is the master, and if you go in and you say, I want to desaturate the master, you're desaturating everything. The problem is that green sweater now is gray. That is not good. So the master does not really work. So I'm going to do Option so that the cancel becomes Reset. And what I really need to tweak is instead is the yellow, the reds, and the magenta. So I'm going to go into, for example, yellows, and I'm going to desaturate a little bit the yellow, take off a little bit of the yellow. And already it looks better. But I also have a lot of reds in here that doesn't help. So I'm going to go in red, and I'm going to push again the red, desaturate the red, push it toward the left. And now you see that his cheeks are not bright pink anymore, but my sweater is still green and his shirt is still blue. So I'm going to do OK, and I'm going to do Command Z so you see the difference. See the difference? In fact, I might have done it a little bit too much, but it's not too bad. In fact, what I lost is, you see back here there is this yellow blanket looking thing, but I don't mind that it's tuned down because the focus should be on him. So the hue and saturation really can do magic. And if we go back into it, I want to point out a few more things, is that you can also choose this and pick the color that you want to act on. So you can go in here and say, hey, look, I want to act on this color. And what it's doing here is taking the cyan, and now you can act on desaturating or bumping up this cyan. So remember, there's this beautiful tool that allows you to do that as well. Aside from hue and saturation, another tool that I love, if you go in, let me see, the clone and the patch tools, this image is actually a really good one because it's too blue, actually. So I'm going to open it up, and you'll see this image is actually a building I designed, is the interior. There are two things that bother me. One is it's very bluish. So let's go in that Command U and act on the blues, actually. And I can, again, use this and click on this kind of blue color, and you see it took the blues, and then I go in and kind of lower the saturation of the blue, and it already looks pretty good, right? But what it bothers me the most is, and I'm going to zoom in, is this little dude. This is one of my kids' toy at the time. I think we still have it. It was made in Africa. Metal little cyclist. I think it's distracting. Means that if I look at my entire picture, I keep going up here wondering what is that thing. And I don't think it's that important. If this was an architectural image, you don't want the little cyclist to take the show, right? So I'm going to zoom onto here and show you two tools that could help. One is called the clone tool, and I'm actually going to go back here to show you the clone tool first, because that is kind of nice to make fun of your tools sometimes. So the clone tools allows you to hold Option, click on a spot, and then when you go and paint, it will paint from that spot on, right? So that's what it does. If you notice, whenever I release the mouse, those pixels were copied straight on. There was no blending, nothing occurred when I released the mouse. I'm going to say Command Z. Now when I go here, what happens when I use that tool though, is if I click, for example, Option here, and then I start painting, I do this and I say, oh, I'm going to paint this. There will be a point that this area is lighter than this one, so I need to kind of jump back and forth trying to kind of paint. But no matter how good I do, you'll see at a certain point when I zoom out, I see that I maneuver there, that I kind of did some color correction there, because it doesn't do that clean of a job. I think the clone stamp tool is ideal for one pixel at the time, for a little area of color, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean. But for an area, it just doesn't do a very good job. Do you guys see that? And if I zoom out, I actually kind of see that there was something there. It bugs me. So I'm going to go in File Revert to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to show you another tool that I actually love, and it's called the Patch tool. It works the same way. The patch and the healing brush do the same thing. It's called the healing brush tool and the patch tool. I tend to use the patch because it's much more like in the whole area. So what it allows you to do is, look, source